Wrestling isn't just about what happens in the ring, it's also about what goes down behind the scenes. And sometimes, the biggest betrayals don't come from steel chairs or sneak attacks, but from stolen wives. From Brock Lesnar snatching Sable right out of Mark Merrow's life.
And then I was realizing that she's seeing somebody else.
To Triple H's love triangle with Chyna and Stephanie McMahon that rocked the WWE locker room, some of the biggest names in wrestling have found themselves tangled in real-life drama. Buckle up, because we're diving into WWE's most scandalous affairs, where friendships were broken, careers were ruined, and hearts, well, they were crushed. Let's get into it. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar had it all, an unstoppable wrestling career, the aura of a dominant force, and soon something else, Sable, one of WWE's biggest stars. But there was just one problem. She was married to Mark Merrow. It all unraveled with a single voicemail where a fellow wrestler exposed the truth. Sable was getting close to none other than the beast incarnate himself, Brock Lesnar. Merrow had suspected something was off in his marriage, but Brock, that was a shock. His response? This gives forgiveness a whole new meaning. Ouch. Meanwhile, Brock and Sable weren't hiding their connection. Their chemistry was undeniable, and soon, they were inseparable. By 2004, Sable had walked away from Merrow's life, and just 2 years later, she and Brock made it official by getting married. What's even more surprising? Wrestling relationships rarely last. The industry is filled with drama, egos, and scandals. But Brock and Sable, they chose a different path. Instead of staying in the chaos, they built a private life away from the spotlight. They settled on a quiet farm in Canada, raising their kids far from the wrestling world's drama. No scandals, no controversies, just family and peace. And Merrow, he took the high road. The betrayal hurt, but he used it as motivation for personal growth. No bitterness, no revenge, just moving forward. While Brock's affair with Sable led to lasting happiness away from the spotlight with little to no scandal, the next wrestler's involvement with another wrestler's partner sparked one of the biggest controversies in WWE history: Edge. Matt Hardy and Lita were WWE's ultimate power couple in the late 90s. They fought side by side, traveled together, and became fan favorites as part of Team Extreme. But behind the scenes, things were far from perfect. In 2004, Matt suffered a serious knee injury, forcing him to step away from the ring for over a year. Meanwhile, Lita was still on the road, often traveling with Matt's close friend Edge, who was married at the time. The constant time together sparked something unexpected, and before long, an affair was in full swing. When Matt found out, he didn't keep quiet. He took the drama to the ring. Controversy was so intense that WWE decided to fire Matt Hardy for making the situation public, but the backlash was impossible to ignore. Seeing how invested fans were, WWE re-signed Matt, turning real-life betrayal into a must-watch storyline. And what a storyline it was. Matt and Edge took their real-life hatred into the ring, delivering brutal matches that blurred the lines between scripted and personal. Meanwhile, Edge and Lita embraced their new villain roles, becoming WWE's most hated duo. Fueled by controversy, Edge skyrocketed to the top as a main event star, but behind the scenes, the pressure was too much. By 2006, Edge and Lita had split, ending their infamous relationship. Edge and Lita's scandal rocked WWE to its core, but decades earlier, another wrestler found himself in an even more bizarre predicament when fiction became reality: Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit's career in WCW wasn't just about wrestling. It became entangled in real-life drama that no one saw coming. In the mid-90s, Kevin Sullivan, who was both a wrestler and a booker, scripted a controversial storyline. Benoit would steal Sullivan's wife, Nancy, in an on-screen affair. But what started as fiction soon turned into reality. As Benoit and Nancy performed their scripted romance, their connection deepened off-screen. Before long, their pretend relationship became a real one, and Nancy ultimately left Sullivan for Benoit. Sullivan later admitted that without realizing it, he had booked the demise of his marriage. By 2000, Benoit and Nancy had made it official, marrying and later welcoming their son, Daniel. To the outside world, they seemed like a happy family, but behind closed doors, trouble brewed. Benoit's intense and obsessive personality began taking a toll on their relationship. Nancy confided in friends that things weren't as they seemed, with reports suggesting she considered leaving him. Then the unthinkable happened. In 2007, the wrestling world was shattered when news broke that Chris Benoit had taken the lives of Nancy and their son before, ending his own. While Benoit's relationship with Nancy began as an on-screen storyline that turned tragically real, Shawn Stasiak's backstage affair created ripples that affected everyone involved. Shawn Stasiaak. Back in the late 90s, Stasiak was a young, charismatic wrestler, eager to make his mark in WWE. But it wasn't just his in-ring potential that had people talking backstage. Stasiak found himself at the center of one of wrestling's most talked-about scandals when he got involved with Terry Runnels, the wife of fellow WWE superstar Dustin Runnels, better known as Goldust. Goldust and Terry were once a power couple in WWE. On screen, they were electric. He, the bizarre gold-painted superstar, and she, the alluring valet who added flair to every entrance. But behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect. Dustin was battling personal demons, including substance abuse, and the stress of WWE's grueling schedule strained their marriage. That's when Stasiak entered the picture. What started as casual conversations between Terry and Shawn soon escalated. Their connection became impossible to ignore, and whispers about an affair quickly turned into an open secret in the locker room. For Dustin, the betrayal was crushing. Already dealing with personal struggles, finding out his wife was seeing another wrestler, one he shared a locker room with, was the ultimate blow. Terry's once glamorous WWE career took a hit. The scandal tarnished her image, and before long, she faded from the spotlight. Dustin, reeling from both personal and professional turmoil, saw his in-ring performances suffer. The vibrant, eccentric Goldust character he embodied started to lose its spark. Backstage, this wasn't just another bit of wrestling gossip. It was the talk of the locker room. Relationships fractured, tensions rose, and what should have been private became public knowledge. Stasiak's affair with Terry might have damaged his WWE prospects, but when it comes to high-profile locker room controversies, Batista's alleged connection to another wrestler's partner took things to another level. Batista. We all know Batista was at the top of his game in the early 2000s, a powerhouse in the ring, a multiple-time champion, and a key player in Evolution. He had it all. But behind the scenes, things were getting messy. At the time, Batista was married to his wife, Angie, but the grueling WWE schedule kept him away from home for long stretches. And then came the rumors, whispers of an affair with WWE diva Melina. As the gossip spread through the locker room, tensions ran high. Morrison, who had been a rising star, was now dealing with not just professional challenges, but personal betrayal. The WWE world was buzzing. Was Batista really involved with Melina? And if so, what did that mean for Morrison? For Batista, the fallout was brutal. The strain on his marriage became unbearable, and ultimately he and Angie divorced. Meanwhile, Melina's relationship with Morrison crumbled under the weight of the rumors. The affair became one of the most talked about backstage scandals in WWE history. Despite the controversy, Batista's career didn't slow down. He continued to dominate in the ring. Batista's affair with Melina rocked the locker room, but when it comes to backstage influence affecting careers, WWE's golden boy has something to say. John Cena. John Cena was the ultimate WWE poster boy, and Mickie James was one of the most charismatic women's champions of her time. Their on-screen chemistry in 2008 had fans hooked, but what they didn't know was that this scripted romance had spilled into real life, creating one of WWE's most controversial scandals. The problem? Both were already in serious relationships. Cena was engaged to his high school sweetheart, Elizabeth Huberdeau, while Mickie James was set to marry fellow WWE superstar Kenny Dykstra. But the high-pressure world of WWE, constant travel and undeniable attraction led to a secret affair that would shake the locker room. It didn't take long for the rumors to spread. The WWE locker room is a tight-knit place, and secrets don't stay hidden for long. When Dykstra allegedly found out about the betrayal, things got messy. Soon after, he was released from WWE, and many believed Cena, who had massive backstage influence, played a role in pushing him out. Mickie James, on the other hand, didn't just deal with heartbreak. Her career took a major hit. In 2009, she was suddenly moved to SmackDown, which many saw as a demotion. But by 2010, Mickie James was gone from WWE, and Cena, he continued to rise untouched by the scandal. The Cena-James affair had its share of surprises, but the next scandal? It's a shocking reminder that divas aren't exempted from WWE's messiest dramas. AJ Lee. CM Punk, AJ Lee, and Lita, three WWE legends whose personal lives became just as intriguing as their in-ring personas. Their timeline of romance, heartbreak, and issues is something straight out of a WWE storyline. It all started in the early 2000s when AJ Lee was just a young, starstruck fan. She met her idol, Lita, and that emotional moment was captured in a viral video. AJ in tears, overwhelmed by meeting the woman who inspired her. Who could have predicted that years later, their lives would be so intertwined? Fast Fast forward to the 2010s. AJ Lee had risen to stardom in WWE, and CM Punk was dominating as the rebellious, outspoken champion. Their chemistry was undeniable, and soon, their relationship became a hot topic among fans. But before AJ, Punk was involved with Lita. The two were spotted together at the 2013 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony, fueling speculation that they were a serious couple. Yet shortly after, Punk and Lita split, and suddenly he was with AJ. This quick transition didn't go unnoticed. WWE insiders, including the well-known Mets fan Forever, suggested that Punk had been getting close to AJ while still involved with Lita. The whispers of an overlapping romance spread like wildfire. Insiders claimed that at WWE events, while Lita was elsewhere in the arena, Punk and AJ were deep in conversation, fueling suspicions that something was brewing. The situation became locker room comedy. A parody cartoon even circulated backstage, poking fun at AJ's childhood moment with Lita and how she ended up with her idol's ex. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Despite the controversy, CM Punk and AJ Lee's love story prevailed. In 2014, they tied the knot, cementing their place as one of WWE's most iconic couples. Their journey, filled with unexpected twists and real-life drama, left an unforgettable mark on the WWE universe. CM Punk and AJ Lee found lasting happiness despite their controversial beginnings, but some wrestling scandals broke the industry entirely. Just ask the biggest name in wrestling history: Hulk Hogan. If there was one man at the center of wrestling's biggest drama, it was Hulk Hogan. He was the face of WWE, the reason behind the downfall of wrestling's most beloved couple, Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. Hogan and Savage were an unstoppable force in WWE, forming the mega powers and dominating the industry. But behind the scenes, things were far more complicated. Savage was fiercely protective of Elizabeth, keeping her away from other wrestlers, fans, and even close friends. But there was one person he couldn't keep her from: Hulk Hogan. As their partnership flourished, so did Savage's suspicions. He believed Hogan was getting too close to Elizabeth. Rumors swirled that Elizabeth and Hogan might have had a secret relationship, something Savage believed until his final days. Even in later interviews, he hinted that something had gone on between them. Hogan, however, has always denied it. He insisted he and Elizabeth were just friends, and that Savage's paranoia got the best of him. That's not all Hogan did. He found himself caught in yet another shocking and public controversy of his career, and it all started with a secretly recorded tape. Let's rewind. Hogan was best friends with Bubba the Love Sponge, a shock jock radio personality known for pushing boundaries. But what no one saw coming was Hogan being filmed in a private moment with Heather Clem, Bubba's wife. And here's the craziest part: Bubba reportedly knew about it. Some even claim he set it up, but that didn't stop the tape from leaking in 2012, sending shockwaves through the media. When the video surfaced, it destroyed Hogan's personal and professional life. The public was stunned, his reputation took a hit, and his long-standing friendship with Bubba completely shattered. But it didn't end there. Hogan fought back, suing the website that released the tape, leading to a massive legal battle. And in 2016, he walked away with a $140 million settlement, bankrupting Gawker in the process. The Macho Man's paranoia about Hogan may never be fully resolved, but the next wrestling power couple's demise is crystal clear. The Heartbreak Kid truly lived up to his nickname. Shawn Michaels. In the mid-90s, Shawn Michaels was the face of WWE. Charismatic, athletic, and full of issues, he had it all. But behind the scenes, there was one name constantly linked to him: Sunny. Tammy Sunny Sitch was WWE's original diva. Blonde, beautiful, and wildly popular. Fans adored her, but behind the curtain, she had a bad reputation for mixing business with pleasure. At the time, Sunny was in a long-term relationship with Chris Candido, but that didn't stop rumors from flying. And at the center of those whispers, Shawn Michaels. Sunny later admitted to an on-again, off-again relationship with Michaels that lasted for years. Their chemistry was undeniable, and their behind-the-scenes drama kept the locker room buzzing. But here's where things get messy. While Sunny was reportedly in love with Shawn, Michaels saw things differently. He was young, cocky, and living the rock star life, never the settling down type. Their relationship was passionate but toxic, filled with jealousy and mind games. As their fling fizzled out, things took a dark turn. Sunny's career started spiraling. Her backstage heat grew, and by the late 90s, WWE cut ties with her. Meanwhile, Michaels, after years of wild partying, had his own wake-up call. He left WWE for a few years, found faith, and eventually turned his life around. In the end, Shawn found stability, marrying Rebecca Kersey and leaving his Playboy days behind. As for Sunny, her story took a much darker path, filled with legal troubles and personal struggles. In March 2022, she was arrested on charges of DUI manslaughter after a car crash involving a 75-year-old man turned fatal. If you think Shawn and Sunny's affair was quite open. Some wrestling romances have played out more openly in front of the cameras when a scorned husband decided to settle things both in and out of the ring. Zachary Shane. Zachary Shane wasn't just making waves in the ring, he was at the center of one of Maryland Championship Wrestling's MCW biggest scandals. Behind the scenes, he was having an affair with Kim McDevitt, formerly known as Kim Payne, the wife of MCW co-owner Dan McDevitt, Corporal Punishment. When the truth came out, the fallout was explosive. Both Zachary Shane and Kim left MCW, while Dan McDevitt temporarily stepped back from running the promotion. What followed? Well, Dan McDevitt and Zachary Shane took their real-life hatred in and out of the ring, delivering hard-hitting matches that blurred the lines between fiction and reality. The drama built up for months, leading to a high-stakes showdown. The ultimate climax? A match at MCW's Holiday Homecoming event on December 26, 2007. The most shocking part, it happened at the same venue where Dan and Kim had gotten married just 3 years earlier.
Well, when creative control doesn't get their way, I swear. Oh, look out! Oh, hold on! Dan McDevitt, he finally got his hands on Zachary Shane here.
If Shane had the nerve to challenge the Corporal Punishment, the next superstar took things to a whole new level with the unthinkable. While Shane faced Corporal Punishment for his affair, the next scandal shows that even the most intimidating women in wrestling history weren't immune to heartbreak when power and politics collided. Triple H. Chyna wasn't just a wrestler, she was a force of nature. Standing tall in the Attitude Era, she broke barriers, shattered stereotypes, and changed WWE forever. Debuting in 1997 as Triple H's enforcer, Chyna was unlike anything the wrestling world had seen before. She wasn't just standing beside the men, she was beating them in the ring. Whether it was tossing around male superstars or making history as the first woman to win the Intercontinental Championship, Chyna was redefining what women could do in WWE. And speaking of Triple H, their on-screen alliance soon turned into a real-life romance dot. Triple H and Chyna were romantically involved during their time in WWE, particularly while they were both part of the iconic D-Generation X stable. Fans loved them together, and their chemistry was undeniable. But behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Enter Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of WWE's chairman. Rumors swirled that Triple H and Stephanie were getting too close, and those rumors weren't just gossip. When Chyna discovered the affair, it broke her world apart.
So, you know.
How'd you find out he was cheating?
I found a note, actually. Yeah, I found a note.
Like a written note?
A written note.
What did it say?
From Stephanie. From Date of the Year, like tucked away in his briefcase.
Imagine being at the top of WWE, only to have your career and relationship ripped away overnight. That's exactly what happened to Chyna. She confronted Triple H about the affair, but the damage was already done. Soon after, WWE released her, and just like that, one of the biggest stars of the era was gone. Chyna's heartbreak wasn't the last time WWE faced relationship scandals, but in the digital age, these controversies became more widespread. Just ask Seth Rollins. In 2015, Rollins was on top of the world. He had just won the WWE Championship, was leading the Authority, and was considered one of the best wrestlers in the business. But meanwhile, Leela wasted no time cutting ties with Rollins, ending their engagement immediately. And as for Zara, she and Rollins continued their relationship for a while, but controversy followed her as well. Past social media posts resurfaced, leading to her eventual release from WWE, later finding love with fellow WWE superstar Becky Lynch, and the two are now married with a child. While Rollins' business was exposed for all to see online, some wrestling affairs remain shrouded in mystery and speculation, like the rumors surrounding one of WWE's most respected veterans, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, Y2J, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, and a wrestling legend. But beyond the bright lights of the WWE, Jericho found himself caught in a controversy that had fans buzzing for all the wrong reasons. For decades, Jericho built a career defined by championships, unforgettable promos, and an ability to reinvent himself. But in the mid-2010s, his personal life took center stage when a shocking photo surfaced, one that linked him to former WWE diva Kelly Kelly in an intimate moment. The internet went into a frenzy. Was Jericho, the proud family man married to Jessica Lockhart since 2000, involved in an affair? The leaked image showed him and Kelly Kelly sharing what appeared to be a kiss, sparking endless rumors about the nature of their relationship. Fans debated the authenticity of the photo. Was it real? Was it taken out of context? Or was it a case of something deeper behind the scenes? But what made things even more intense was the silence. Neither Jericho nor his wife ever publicly addressed the controversy, leaving fans to speculate. WWE, as always, remained remained tight-lipped, and the scandal never impacted Jericho's career in the company. Unlike other superstars who faced fallout from personal controversies, Jericho continued headlining shows, hosting his Talk is Jericho podcast, and even expanding his music career with Fozzy. Despite the whispers, Jericho and his wife never showed signs of trouble. They remained together, proving that whether the rumors were true or not, their bond stayed strong. Meanwhile, Kelly moved on, staying distant from the speculation surrounding her and Jericho. However, when it comes to complicated marital histories in wrestling, oh boy, nobody compares to the legendary Nature Boy himself, Ric Flair. When you hear the name Ric Flair, you think of limousines, jet flying, and all-night partying. But with that legendary lifestyle came a trail of problems. And we're not just talking about wrestling. Flair has been married 5 times, and let's just say loyalty wasn't exactly his strong suit. Over the years, rumors swirled about his wild affairs, many of which he's openly admitted to. In his own words, Flair once claimed he had slept with over 10,000 women. 10,000. Now, whether that number is fact or Flair's exaggeration, it definitely shows his lifestyle outside the ring.
I heard about your number.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rick, I heard about your number. It was 10,000 was the number I heard. 10,000 women. That's what we're speaking about, right, RC? 10,000 women. Rick, 10,000?
Well, if I say it to you, you won't believe this.
No, I believe it.
His most high-profile marriage was to Elizabeth Harrell, which lasted over 20 years. But even that wasn't enough to keep Flair from straying. Their marriage ended in a messy divorce, with allegations of infidelity being a major factor. Then came his marriage to Tiffany Vandemark, a fitness competitor. But guess what? That one crashed and burned quickly, with more rumors of Flair's cheating ways. By the time he married Wendy Barlow, his 5th wife, many thought he had finally settled down. But in 2022, they split. And once again, speculation ran wild about what really went down. But let's be real, Flair never pretended to be a saint. He lived his Nature Boy gimmick 24/7, embracing the wild parties, the women, and the drama that came with it. Whether you love him or hate him, Ric Flair's personal life is just as electrifying as his wrestling career. And one thing's for sure, he's always been styling and profiling, no matter the consequences. Did you enjoy this video? Click on any of the cards on your screen right now for similar content. Thank you.